Hi, guys. This is Cliff from cliffslist, and today I've had a special guest, Donald Lewis, who has his own path to success with women that he's going to be sharing with us today. Donald, maybe you can give a bit of an introduction about yourself to people who don't know about you or anything like that.
All right, my name is Donald Lewis. I'm the author of Mastering Your Beast Mode, 32 Laws to Becoming a High Value Man. I'm 43 years old. I've been married. I was in a relationship for 11 years. And I have multiple kids with multiple women. And at this point in age in life, I feel like I done succeeded with peace and understanding when it comes to women.
That's that's something not too many guys can say. I think that's pretty impressive. Maybe you can give us a little bit of your history with women, like how you, when you first started, I guess, showing interest in women, how you went from sort of not knowing. Generally, usually, most guys, not all guys, but most guys don't really know anything when they're starting out, and then they have to learn one way or another, or they have certain sort of threshold experiences or something. Maybe you can give us a little bit about your history of how you became more successful with them.
Well, I'm blessed. Um, I'm the only boy in a house full of women. My mother had 3 kids. I have an older sister and a little sister. My older sister is 2 years older than me, and my little sister is 10 years younger than me. Um, Throughout the years, watching them was my first introduction. Um, well, my mother and my older sister, and a host of cousins. But once I started liking women, I might have been in 5th or 6th grade when I started being attracted to them. And I just started learning them and paying attention to the details. And the first thing I've learned was honesty.
That's a
Telling the
big
truth.
one.
Yeah. Telling the truth got me far. Telling the truth, putting everything on the table, it gets me far. When you give a person the opportunity to make their own decisions based on the truth opposed to a lie, I believe you build a better relationship.
Well, my experience with honesty is that it's absolutely critical, but it's not just so black and white. And I'll give you an example. A lot of guys will go up to women and just basically tell them how they want to sleep with them. The women will slap them. That's
Correct.
honest, but it doesn't work.
No,
So
no.
there's a lot of tact and diplomacy involved, and there's knowing how to tell the truth is a very valuable skill, I guess.
Yes, it is. It's the details. Communication. Like I said, I wrote a book called Mastering Your Beast Mode, 32 Laws. And this is it here. You can catch it on any platform. And in the book, I have a law, number 5. It's called number 5 is mastering emotional intelligence. Now, developing throughout my life the intelligence of emotions was hard because I grew up in the household with a woman. Now, my father was around, but he wasn't in the household. So my day-to-day lives were around women. And in the beginning, my beginning stages, I didn't understand my emotions because I were learning them wrong by what I was paying attention to. So I had to separate myself from certain situations so I could get a better understanding and then approach it differently because I was approaching it with the same understanding as bucking, trying to prove a point, trying to get my point across, when that is not always the case. Sometimes you just have to listen. And when you listen, you can actually hear what's being said and you can respond to that, opposed to feeling defensive in every action.
Did you have any call them aha moments, like some big revelation somewhere?
Uh, Many, many. Um, like I said, I have many kids. I have multiple kids' mothers. So times where I'm trying to balance situations, different households, trying to balance sports and activities and schools. Um, those communications where I'm not being aggressive, where I'm not being combative, where I'm not being argumentative, those are the times where I see I get balance. Not so much I win the argument, but a balance to where both parties get what they need.
Okay. Well, did you like? I'm kind of like looking for like something that happened that gave you a big insight. Like
Oh, a particular situation.
yeah, like things that happen to you when you're sort of like learning about women, and then something happened, and that was like, and actually, I don't know if you have any that are kind of unique, something that maybe a guy wouldn't have necessarily heard before.
Well, yeah. Well, in my urban area, things are pretty common. But I do have a situation where my honesty saved me. I might have been 19 at the time, and I thought I was a player. Right now, we're talking to two different females at the time, but I let them know that I was talking to each one of them, but I wasn't completely honest in the full details. And there was a time where I was walking up to my door with one of the young ladies, and one of the young ladies was already at my door coming to visit. And as we walk up, I'm thinking we was about to have some drama, but because of the fact that I was pretty honest about that I talked to other people, because of the fact that I put myself on the table of who I was and how I am, we were able to have more of a conversation and move forward opposed to fighting and arguing. And to this day, both of those young ladies are still good friends.
That's that's a big statement there. You're able to keep them over all those years. That's really phenomenal.
Most definitely.
Um, what made you have like I guess I don't know if you dated them both at the same time and they were both aware of it. Um, you know, I know certain guys have taken that sort of insight and dated many women at the same time. I don't know, is that what you ended up doing at some point as well?
Well, that's what I did the whole time. In those early days, I done came to a point now in life where I've understood like too many personalities is too much. Women have big personalities, and to be dealing with multiple personalities at one time is hard. You can't even focus on your own dreams and goals because you're bouncing around trying to please too many women, and that became a clash for me personally. I don't know too much about for the women. I'm pretty sure they wanted me to themselves, but my younger days, I looked at it like we were young, we learning, we trying to figure out ourselves, and I kind of think they understood that too. But once I got older, it was a little different. Women expect more. Foundations are built, and those type of games are just not accepted if you're serious about life.
Do you have any insights about transitioning from meeting a woman to getting into a relationship with her?
Um, for me, I try to take it slow. Um, Meeting women is pretty easy. I'm pretty lucky with that area. I try to be respectful with that though, because you know I would say in the society that I live in, it's not too many men that think like me, act like me, present themselves the way I do. So it kind of separates me from a lot of people, and it gets me a lot of attention. Um, so when meeting women, I try to take it like pretty slow with getting to know them fully, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and then I gradually take it to the next level, which kind of takes a little while with me because I'm pretty detailed. I like to know a lot. Um, some women, that's kind of a hard one right there, though, because women don't like that. I'm gonna be real with you. Women don't like it. Women like to move at their pace. Women like to move fast. When they ready, they ready. When they want something, they want it, no matter what you're talking about. So it's kind of hard to balance that one, you know. Um, Hence the reason why probably I'm not in a situation now, because I'm focused on my goals and dreams. And women don't kind of understand that. They want you to give them 24 hours attention, but then they also want you to provide. So it's like it's a love-hate situation. It's a double-edged sword. So, I have good experiences, but I also have some terrible ones. I have some terrible ones.
Well, that's how you learn,
I've been bumped upside the head many times, man. Like I said, I have multiple kids, mother. I have 8 kids, man, and 7
Wow.
baby moms. Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah. So my younger days, man, I was dealing with a lot of women. So I didn't deal with a lot of different personalities, different religious, spiritual thoughts. So throughout that, I've able to pick up some traits and things to understand them better. I know that they're all not the same, but there's a lot of similarities, but a lot of it is self, though. I believe once you personally change your perspective and the way you move and do things, everything falls in place. I think that works for everybody.
You mentioned a little bit earlier that you think about these situations differently than most guys. Can you maybe elaborate on that a bit?
Well, most guys are male chauvinist pigs. I've been that before. We build, we create, we do. That's the mindset. We go out, we provide, we take care of. Most guys have that mindset. It's only a few guys that think with a balanced mind, where it's a semi-equality, even though we're different, but we're equal because we both matter. We both play a major role. Both of our qualities creates a whole. And once I start understanding that, I've been having a lot of peace. I don't try to lead with the fact that I'm a man. We both know I'm a man, so I try to lead with applied knowledge. I try to lead with understanding, with love, with peace, things of those natures. That way it gives a better understanding where I'm coming from, or what I'm standing on, or what I believe in. And then that way my partner or whoever I'm dealing with follows the way I want them to follow, or the way I need them to follow.
Can you be a little more specific about how you would lead that with with a woman? Like, I get the idea behind it, but how you'd actually do it.
Example. Sometimes you gotta show women, you gotta apply the things that you're talking about. So a lot of guys, we meet women and we tell them things, and then time goes on and women be watching, they paying attention. They might not say nothing, but they're watching, and we put our foot in our mouth. We'll say things, we talk big about ourselves, and then we never can back it up, some guys. So for me, I try to stay focused on backing my words up. So if I tell a woman something, or if I have an ideal about something, I try to show with action that I'm working towards this. And in time, that shows a consistency. And then the woman believes in me more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I don't know if you, I guess, deal with guys who aren't as successful as you, and I'm just curious if you coach any of them, or if you you write your book. Obviously, I guess there's some insights in there, but just curious what experiences you've had, and how you will lead a guy to kind of become more successful himself in what he's doing.
Most times I try to get guys to hold themselves accountable for their own actions. When I talk to fellas, a lot of times people like to tell you a story about what the next person did. So when a person talks to me about a situation, guys in their relationships, I tell them, okay, when you tell me the story, I only want you to tell me the story from your angle, what you did. And then I want you to tell me the full story, so that way you can hear yourself talk about your behavior, because if you hear your a lot of times we don't understand the things we do, but if we hear it, write it down or see it, then we can check it. And I try to do that with fellas so they can see their behavior and check it. Because a lot of times, if we check ourselves, we can fix pretty much any situation we in. A lot of times we only focus on what outside entity does, but a lot of it is internal. So if we could change our perspectives in a matter, change the way we approach a matter, change the way we think in a matter, I think that helps with guiding the situation. So that's the way I talk to fellas and talk to guys and this is regular. I does this on a regular with me and my fellas. We talk about this all the time because we trying to create something different, opposed to what the world's been used to as far as with guys of all races and styles and colors. Because at the end of the day, we all fighting the same battles, especially when it comes to women, you know.
Yeah.
when they, because they're powerful, man. Women are strong. A lot of people don't understand it. They don't respect it. They want to put women in a box, and that right there in itself is a problem. If you want to categorize women, put them in a box, and if that's how you're going to approach the situation, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose with that woman.
No, for sure. Women are a lot more capable than a lot of guys give them credit for, and that's how they end up not getting anywhere with them because they're underestimating them.
So as soon as everybody realized we all came from a woman,
That's true. That's very true.
If they accept that part with real understanding, I think they'll start treating it differently. Because at the end of the day, we all start there. All of our first love is a woman. No matter how we want to look at it, put it, our first love is a woman. It's our mother, our granny, our auntie. Some woman in our life is our first love.
Mm-hmm.
So if we keep that understanding, I think, and when we approach women that we're trying to date, I believe we win or have a little more success. But we try to categorize it, treat it differently, when at the end of the day, you got to approach it with love. If you really, truly have love in your heart, you'll make the right decisions.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned earlier that you said meeting women is kind of easy. I think a lot of guys will find that an interesting comment, and maybe you can give a little bit more about your experience on that and your knowledge about that.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of guys out there that don't understand what I'm saying, but it's a lot that do. I've been an active dude my whole life, play sports, dress nice. I take care of myself, drive nice cars, all these type of things. I be in the right areas. I hang around the right people. So it keeps me in the facility with beautiful women, all types of women, and like I said, because of the way I think, the way I present myself, carry myself, a lot of times I don't have to approach. Sometimes women approach me. My DMs can prove it. Just being honest though, and I'm not trying to be cocky or anything like that, because I don't even act on a lot of it. It's just the truth of the matter. When you move different, you get a different environment, and I fully understand that. I'm fully aware of it. So, it comes to me pretty easy. It's been that way though. Like I said, I have 7 kids' mother. So, I've been pretty lucky in that area all my life. Women don't pretty much deny me too much. You know, I understand them, man. Like I said, I'm raised by one, grew up with them, been around them all my life. I kind of understand what they like, what they want to hear, what they, you know, and by me leading with honesty, you know, it allows me to get them to open up to me to really get their true self. That way we can have a true relationship. No way. That way, if our relationship is going to be based on us just being cordial, then it'll be a full understanding. Nobody will get hurt because the way I lead into the situation allows a woman to open up and express herself as well. Because that's a major part about it too. Women have to be able to be in a space to express themselves because a lot of times they're feeling pressured. Like they have to be a certain type of way, and that might not be the way they want to be in that moment. You know, and if you're not allowing that space to be there for them to express themselves the way they want to, you're gonna lose there too.
Okay. Have you got any insights that you've learned about women that maybe guys probably may not have heard before, things that are a little bit unique from your experience? I don't know if there's anything like that that comes to mind.
Um, I don't know about the unique part, you know, because you know, life is repetitive, in my opinion. Things repeat itself over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Just the time period changes. But like I said, once men start holding themselves accountable and start recognizing women have power too, those two things right there, I think would be the leading factor in changing the dynamics in relationships with men and women.
Okay. um, so do you, I gather from what you're telling me that you have quite an active social life and you meet women primarily in person. You just, you're just doing your normal life. They're all around you all the time. So I guess you don't really probably meet them online or anywhere else, or go out to any special places to find them.
Oh no. I'm not out seeking women. No, I'm not hunting no more. Them days are over. um, no, so as far as like the dating sites, no, I'm not on none of those. But like all my social media sites, you know, women talk to me. You know, I can make a post talking about our community, make a post talking about my book or something like that. And, you know, women like to hear things different. You know, a lot of guys keep talking about the same thing, sports, themselves, you know what I mean? And I tend not to try to do that. I try to like move forward. I try to talk about things that's going to better other people opposed to even myself. Like I kind of try to help others opposed to just focusing on me. So because of that, it attracts a lot of women. You know, just that in itself, like, you know, like with my book is a foundation for my nonprofit that I'm about to start. My nonprofit is geared to changing the dynamics in the gang culture. I'm trying to eradicate it, you know, by giving the youth something different. And that's something I'll be pushing online. And that have attracted a lot of women. And it's just me doing what I love and what I feel needs to be done. But like I said, it's just a lot of times when you're doing things that are different from the average guy, that helps. You know, a lot of guys do the same thing. I don't play video games. I like sports, but I'm not sitting there watching them every day. You know, I got other things to do. So it's like, it's certain things that just put me in a different box that allows me to experience women different. That's what I believe, you know. And some women, I meet them and we become friends. I have female friends that call me their counselor, you know, like literally calls me for advice. You know, like literally, like this is real talk, like on a regular. So it's because I have that understanding. I give that open space, and I'm honest. Whether it's an ugly truth, a beautiful truth, I'm gonna tell it to him. But I'm gonna tell it to him respectfully. You know, I'm gonna tell it to him where it doesn't hurt as hard, but they sometimes need to hear so they could change something. You know, and I think because I'm conscious about that and the way I approach it, that helps, you know? So I believe that's what it is.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about, I guess, the things in your life that are a little bit different from you think that from most guys, that it seems like you've got a very unique kind of social circle, from what I'm gathering, and
Well,
your attitude toward it is also different.
it is. My lifestyle, I come from the streets, so by me coming from the streets, um, I understood that ain't life. So because, like I said, my father was around. He wasn't in my household, but he was around. So the household my father created was in a different environment than the household where my mother was. So it allowed me to understand there was a difference to life. So my whole life, even though I chose this route, my whole life, I understood it was other things going on and I needed to focus. And I love information. That's just something about me. I read like crazy. No matter what it is, no matter what it's about, I love information. I'm a little tedious when it comes to that. So because of that, it's a lot of things in my head that changes my perspective and my point of view. So it changes the way I attack things. So my culture, I would say, is urban, but I don't like lock myself in an urban culture. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like I'm open to understand everything. Like even when it comes to religious texts, I really read them all because I want to get an understanding, everybody's point of view. I don't want to judge nobody. I want to see how you feel. I want to see how she feels. That way I could get a better perspective on it. Not so much to judge it, to understand it. And I think because that's my approach to life is to understand opposed to judge, I think it allows me to maneuver in different circles because I be in different circles. I have celebrity friends, I have broke friends, I have friends that's artists, I have friends that are musicians, skateboarders, all styles, athletes, and I can blend in all of them, all these circles, because I enter them trying to understand. And I think that's what helped me with women because I'm trying to understand them. I love them. I really do. I love women. I respect them. I truly do. And it's like because of that, I think I really want to understand how they feel and where they're coming from. And I don't try to be selfish about it. So because I don't want to be selfish, I allow that space that's needed.
Any other, as you were talking about all this, any other sort of insights about dealing with women that come to mind? Things that maybe a guy might be interested to hear that he might not have heard from other guys about how to deal with certain situations that come up. Like there's all kinds of situations that come up with women, and I think we all
Stop pointing fingers at women. Stop
Mhm.
blaming women. Stop, man. I can't press that enough, man. All I hear on this damn internet, man, I don't mean to, use words like that, but all I hear on this internet is guys just pointing, and we gotta stop that, bro. Like we really have to stop that. Like that, we have to come with a different approach. We all have issues. We all been through things. We all know that. This is life.
Mhm.
So we have to stop attacking. We all been attacked at some point in what another in our lives. So let's stop attacking and start approaching with love. Love each other. Let's come together. Let's support each other. You know, that's just what I believe. It's just too much judgmental. It's just too much men, too many men. We could go down the TikTok line, we could go down the Instagram line, the YouTube line of all the men online telling women about how they should be, telling women about what they did, what they're doing. Trust me, I'm pretty sure you done seen it. And it's crazy. And we have to stop that. We really do. We have to stop that. Big time, bro. Like that's not cutting it.
Okay. Um, all right. Well, look, maybe you can tell the guys a little bit more about you know, how they could find out more about you and a little bit about your book and other things that they might be able to benefit from sort of meeting you through me here.
All right, most definitely. Well, we're gonna start off with the book, Mastering Your Beast Mode: 32 Laws of Becoming a High Value Man, by yours truly, Big Don Lewis. You can get this on Barnes and Noble, Amazon, Kindle, any platform, you know, iPhone, audio books, any platform where you want to get a book. The ebook is $9.99. The paperback is $25. You can reach me on Instagram and TikTok at beast mode _ Don Wees 132. Beast mode _ Don Wees 132. And then my YouTube channel is Beast Mode Conversation. And you can reach me and subscribe over there to YouTube. And we could chat, talk about life, talk about my book. We can help you, help me, and we could make a better future for all of us.
Well, that was great. I really appreciate you taking the time with me this evening, and I think there's a lot of good information here that the guys are going to be listening to, and hoping that some of them get back to you, and you know, everybody benefits from this.
I appreciate you, Cliff. No, this opportunity was great. This was a blessing. I love this opportunity, and I love the support. And anything you need from me, man, I'm there for you, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right. Well, look, it was good talking with you. Maybe we'll do this again sometime soon.
Most deaf.